to the ladies' dressing room. Today we are going to talk about something that is so important to a dress. It's the dress's best friend, which is the slip. This is something that I feel is often forgotten about, and especially in today's society. And as ladies, we can definitely benefit from the slip. So many dresses today are created with very thin see-through fabric. So this is a wonderful reason why a lady should wear a slip, because you don't want to, see through your legs. You want there to be a certain look with whatever dress it is that you're wearing. But not only that, it really does help your dress to lay beautifully so that it doesn't cling to your body the way that it would if there wasn't that barrier there. It helps when it's windy outside to where your dress doesn't basically go through your legs, which is good. Such a good thing. It also just offers that bit of extra protection in case it's a windy day, for instance, and your dress may fly up a little bit. Having that extra layer for a slip just will bring you a sense of security for sure. Although I know many ladies also like to wear some kind of shorts or petty pants underneath their dresses or their skirts to feel that kind of comfort, which we're going to pair that together. So petty pants or a slip, whatever it is that you would like to wear. I do think that a slip is important even if you are going to wear petty pants as well, for the fact that you don't want to be able to see the outline of your legs through, if sun is backlighting you, for instance. So that is just a really big benefit when it comes to a slip. So I often see that, like, when a slip is being advertised, for instance, with on Poshmark, for instance, it's often said that it can be like a nightgown, but there is a big difference between a nightgown and a slip. Now, I'm not saying that you can't wear your slip as a nightgown as well. I don't feel that it's as comfortable, at least from what I have found in wearing slips, especially because of what the bust area is made out of. Sometimes that's with a lady wearing a bra in mind, and there is some layering that goes on when it comes to your bra, your slip, petty pants, and then your dress. And I know a lot of ladies don't like the extra layer, but it truly is a wonderful part of being a lady, if you ask me, are all of the beautiful layers and the things that we get to enjoy when it comes to dressing. So a slip is great for having that undergarment that is that barrier between your bra and the dress. And for instance, say you're wearing a shirt dress and you have that little bit of, opening that sometimes happens with a shirt dress because, with the buttons and everything. A slip is great to wear underneath a dress, and this also gives you that barrier to where no one would be able to see your bra through that, for instance. You would much rather someone see the slip instead of the bra, and that's not to say that you want to showcase your slip either. However, I will say that especially today, and this may not have been the way that they were intended in the past, but I feel like necklines were a lot higher in the past. So for myself, I have found that using a slip as a little bit of extra height in a neckline has been very helpful and also beautiful. And you may have seen a lot of camisoles, for instance, that have a lace edging on it. So for myself, I like to sometimes use the slip as that lace edging that I would need, that extra little bit of, length or height for my neckline, and I just feel that it pairs very beautifully with a dress, depending on the dress. And I have a lot of different slips, and most of my slips are actually vintage slips. However, I have found a few on Amazon that have also been very beautiful and what I like to use depending on what dress I am wearing. They have been something that have paired beautifully with a dress. And I kind of feel like some of the slips that I've purchased on Amazon are the kind that act as a slip, but also as that extra layering piece so that you wouldn't need to have a camisole, for instance. It has that little bit of lace edging that pairs beautifully with a dress. It kind of disguises the bra if, you know, it helps in all different areas when it comes to your undergarments, smoothing that out, having that extra layer there. And then also it helps your dress in the way that it sits on your body. So I think that the dress hangs in a much better way if you're wearing a slip underneath. Now let's talk about where to find these beautiful slips. I truly believe that there is such a difference when it comes to the way that slips were designed in the past and the way that they are designed today. I certainly prefer the way that they were designed in the past. And while they do make some beautiful ones today, mind you, and I have used some of the more modern ones today, the vintage slips are my go-to ones that I will typically wear for the everyday and on an everyday basis. And I have found the majority of mine on Poshmark. I love the different colors that they came in. A lot of the colors that they come in today are either white, beige, or black. And I don't know, I just feel like you need more of those blush tones when it comes to slips, in my opinion, for a lot of the different dresses that you would want to wear. But that's just me. And then also the length that they used to come in were the perfect lengths. I don't feel like a lot of them hit at the right spot today. So there is that variation. Now you really do need to know your size, whether that is your bust, your waist, especially when it comes to shopping secondhand. You want to know your size, make sure you have that available to you when you are, doing your shopping online. And then also when you go to a store, especially if you go to a vintage shop, for instance, or a thrift store, something like that, you can hold it up to you and typically see if it extends to the sides and it's not, pushing down on your chest, then you should be able to fit that. But still, it's something that you might want to bring a little tape measure with you when you go to a thrift store, just to see for sure, because a lot of the times you're not able to return those items. So overall, I have found it most helpful to shop on Poshmark secondhand. I know that there are other secondhand sites as well that you can shop. I usually type in vintage lace slip. I love the lace when it comes to slips. That's one of the things that I always go for. I don't go for the modern slips today. The ones that are very bare, very minimal. But that's just me, because I love the way that a vintage slip hugs the body in different areas that I think really accentuates a woman's figure to look beautiful, even when it's just the slip that you're looking at. I just love the design of the older styles of slips. I feel that they really kept the lady's figure in mind, and because of that, I feel that it really is so helpful when it comes to the way that your clothes lay on your body, as opposed to the more modern designs today. But that's just me. And so, for instance, some of the lace edging that I have on the more modern slips, it's a little thicker, and I feel like this doesn't lay as smoothly up against the body as the vintage style ones, and the lace is just not as delicate. So I feel like that's another reason why I do opt for the vintage styles myself, but then also the coloring. And I feel that you can find, I love all of the lighter designs or lighter shades and the variation of shades of different, blush pinks, of creams, of the whites, of the yellows or blues. I have found some really beautiful blue ones as well. There's teal, there's just aqua. So many, much like this dressing gown and nightwear set that I am wearing right now. This is such a pretty color to me, and something that was much more common in the past. And that's one of the things that you will notice if you do shop vintage when it comes to slips or nightwear. There is a theme going, it seems, because at a certain time in the past that those colors were very popular around that time. And they are just more of the very elegant, very delicate colors that so many ladies used to wear in times past, and especially around the bedroom or in their dressing room or just around the home. So when it comes to slips, if this is something that you make sure to wear and pair with all of your dresses, please let me know that in the comments below, or if it's something that you have yet to really add to your wardrobe, because this is definitely something that you would benefit from if you do wear dresses. And I think that you will realize how much better your dresses fit if you do wear a slip. Now, some places are creating more cotton slips because they realize that more and more women want to wear natural fibers. And so that is something that you could look for in various places. But a lot of the vintage ones, they were more nylon or polyester, but really a lot of nylon. Is that the same thing? So anyway, that is something to keep in mind. If you are a stickler about natural fibers, then you may not like the vintage styles, and that's okay too. So anyway, that is really what I wanted to share with you. I have so many that I consider favorites that go with just about everything. And so now when I shop for vintage lace slips or just a vintage slip, there are certain aspects of them that I keep in mind that I do look for. Right now I'm kind of in search for a vintage yellow one, something that is very soft, because I have more of those yellow tones that I've been, adding to my wardrobe. So I've been on the lookout for them. Sometimes I get a little nervous about purchasing some things online just because the color can really vary. The color is not always true to the color that you see in the picture. And I did purchase a yellow one years ago, and it was more of like a highlighter yellow, I feel, and so I wasn't too pleased with it. I wore it for a little while, but then I realized I wasn't reaching for it as often as I was some of the other ones. So I ended up parting with that one when I did a clean out one year. So anyway, that's something that I have on my wish list, but it has to be the right buttercream yellow that I'm looking for. Today's dress of the day does not have a brand. I could not find a brand, but I did find this at the thrift store, and it was only $8, so it was quite the steal. And I really like the way that it fits. It's a tiered dress, so not something that is my preference, but it's something that I will wear. And it's not something that I say, oh, I'm never going to wear this, for instance. But it's just not something that I wear in all places. I'm a little bit, this is a great around the house dress, or if I'm just going out and running errands, it's great to wear on a more of a windy day, I feel. And I really like the sleeve length on this dress, and it's just been one of those colors that has been fun to wear from time to time, and also to incorporate into some of my color stories where I need more of that teal color, and it's a soft teal though. On camera, it might be showing up kind of bright, but it's really not that bright in person. It has more of, you know, a dusty color to it, which I think is very lovely and soft, and it's just one of those everyday dresses that I can wear. Today's dressing space comes from Kim. She said, "This is a picture of my little corner of a small shared, with my husband, dressing room in a country house in the UK. The dressing table has a collection of items with special memories to me, as well as my perfume collection, of which I have quite a few. Once my outfit for the day is chosen, I have a spritz of perfume and let it settle a moment before I get dressed. Often a different one each day, depending on my feelings that day. I had the room wallpapered last year and found the beautiful perfume bottle print for the wall, which is perfect for the setting. I love this little feminine space to start my day in." Thank you so much for sharing your space with us today, Kim. This is so inspiring, especially the fact that it's this little corner and you've done so much with it to make it your own and a place that just brings you happiness each day. I think that that's something that's so important for the lady of the house. So if you have yet to submit your picture to share with the rest of the class, I hope that you will, and that, you know, you can share a space of yours, a dressing space that would inspire other ladies simply because it's yours. And that's really what I hope to highlight in this series this year, is that each of us are so different, and we have these spaces that we create for ourselves that bring us joy and help us really set the tone for the day and for the way that we present ourselves to the world. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really hope that something inspired you in some way and that you would choose beauty every day.